The universe is on the side of justice. 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 The universe is on the side of justice.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Show of hands if you have gone through our 2-day workshop. All right. It's a pleasure and honor to stand here before you once again. Thank you very much for allowing us to be here with you. The reason why we came to you at any point in time is because of the curriculum that was given to us. Because of a conversation that was started by Dr. Martin Luther King and passed on to someone else around the next movement that they were going to do after the Poor People's Campaign of Chicago. It was to internationalize and institutionalize nonviolence education. Because the power that people possess when they find an alternative to dealing with their conflicts in a constructive, intelligent way that doesn't bring forth greater future conflicts. So we'd like to hear from some of y'all, if you don't mind. Just open up the space in the spirit of the movement, because it's these types of messages that I'm sure that this young man is going to share to help so many other people get through those difficult moments, those dark moments, when they can't see any light or believe that the sun is going to come. So if you don't mind sharing before.
When I first did the Kenyan nonviolence training, I was touched by it because I've always been fascinated by history. To be a part of that when they came in, it was a good experience because everything that he was teaching then is still relevant today. He was able to apply it to today. It was good for me to be in the class. Even though I did it twice, I still got a lot from it. And the second time I was able to help the people that was in here. So it was good for me. And he said that he agreed if we was to do it 2 more times, we can help facilitate the class when I came in the next time. So I was happy about that, and it really touched me because what was in the training was powerful. And like I said, I'm fascinated with facts, so I really liked it. And I'll do it again if we came back in here. So I do not know what may come tomorrow. In my life, I've had many regrets and not enough sorrow. If I could live life over again, I probably would live it the same. Yet, I would try to live it absent of so many of my pains. Although I face triumphs right beside my discord, although I've often stepped outside the graces of the Lord, my mishaps and missteps did not make me less than man, because I have stood with courage against all reprimands. I have been judged, misjudged, cursed, and accused, deceived, degraded, misperceived, and misused. Still, in the storm of deception, I kept my faith. As connivers and confidence stared me in the face, I did not lose my conviction. I did not weaken in my trust. I did not go too far astray. I did not succumb to my selfish lust. I remained the same, steeped in my idiosyncrasy, because I believed someone would open the ear to hear my pleas. Though it had been a long journey along the way, I believed that things would turn around and be better someday.
But when I open my eyes, I'm still here in this hell, living next to my toilet in a 2-man cell. So I'm going to get back in my Bible, reading Ephesians, don't you know? That's where Paul tells us how to live, that's for sure. Be good to your neighbor, be good to your wife. It even says be good to your enemy. Yeah, you heard me right. So next time you're out there and you're about to get in a fight, do like Jesus and turn your cheek to the right. Because nonviolence is the way courageous people live their life. But man, that's hard because I'm known to do the fool. That's why I'm in my Bible, so I can stay cool. See, a lot of us talk about being hard, and we can't even stay off that dope boulevard. We know that's our nemesis, we know that's where we fall, but we get it in our minds that this time we can ball. But I'm going to start that thinking out and try to get it right. That's why I read my Bible every single night. Psalms, Romans, Isaiah, Proverbs too. Those are for the books I'm trying to get through. So like I said in the beginning, I'm trying to change my life. So I'm going to stay on my knees and pray with all my might. See, I'm praying to be strong in a whole nother way. I'm praying to be nonviolent in a Kenyan nonviolence way. God grant me the strength and the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one I pray. They say all I got to do is stay clean and nonviolent for today. So let's give it up for a nonviolent Kingdom way.
I thought this storm would never end. Now blizzard is coming in, and I'm wounded with all the sin from the drum that I'm left with. Every time a task is done, a new one comes like the sun. Guess my life will have no fun, so I am the chosen one. I was meant to be tested, meant to get these great blessings, meant to have some stress, meant to have some success. No need for second guess because all in life is meant. So I don't live with regrets because all in life was meant. I notice my self-worth. It's not a jail or a hearse. The prophet inspires mine, so I'm here to share a verse. And though at times it might hurt, no need to band-aid, because prideful endeavors can lead to an early grave. The truth is sure to lays, so donate time for your speech. Put it in layman terms, pay attention while I preach. I'm known to shake some seats, my words be shaking some noise. Sometimes I ask myself why. Where the hell did I go wrong? Was I injected with a virus to send my life in spirals? Or was I meant to go through it for some guys just like me? Ain't trying to be an idol, but survive and best. So I'm going to push it to the limit until they take my last breath.
Making good use of this time, and I pray that this is my last time, serving time, for making poor use of my time by wasting time. Time has its own time. Time does not wait. Time is always on time. Time is never late. Even when we're stuck, stagnated, frozen in time, time keeps on non-stop. Every second, every minute, every hour, every day, every week, every month, year, decade, century, millennium, time after time, time and time again. Every cliche that expounds upon time, the word time, every letter that spells the word time. Time is an item, I-T-E-M, that will emit, E-M-I-T. The smallest denomination of currency, or a very small creature, might, M-I-T-E. That's also the amount of faith, of mighty faith, that we can put towards ourselves so we can stay out of this place. Serving time after precious time. Time is priceless, not like Timex or Rolex, those pricey items of time. No price tag on my time, not this time. The good book speaks of times in which we can all relate. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verses 1 through 8. To everything there's a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to harvest, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to break down, a time to build up, a time to weep, a time to laugh, a time to mourn, a time to dance, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace, a time to refrain from embracing, a time to gain, a time to lose, a time to keep, a time to cast away, a time to rend, a time to sow, a time to keep silence, and a time to speak, and a time for love, a time for hate, a time for war. And families, I tell you, it's last, but it's definitely not the least. The good book says that there is a time for peace, a time for peace, a time for peace. The time for peace is now. The time for peace is now. It is time for peace.
Well, son, I tell you, life for me ain't been no crystal stair. It had tacks in it and splinters and boards torn up. In places with no carpet on the floor. Bare, but all the time I've been climbing on, reaching landing, turning corners, and sometimes going in the dark where there ain't been no light. So, boy, don't you stand up there because you find it's kind of hard. Don't you fall now, for I still going and I still climbing. And life for me ain't been no crystal stair.
Good morning again.
Good morning.
I don't know if you'll remember last time we were here, I talked a lot about how mornings are a daily conflict for me. I hate mornings. But right now, I gotta tell you all, I'm beaming. It is so good to be back in here, to see some of you all again, see some new faces. For those of you that haven't been through the workshop, we got a real big surprise. Well, I guess it's not really a surprise anymore, but a real special treat. Because Dr. Lafayette is someone who has sacrificed and struggled for all of us for decades and decades, longer than I've been alive. And in our workshops, we talk a lot about our youngsters out in the streets and how much we need to invest in our youth. But we also owe a great debt to those that came before us, to those that struggled, to those that sacrificed so much so that we could be where we're at. And oftentimes we complain a lot about our current situation, and we forget that so many people sacrificed just to get us to where we are today. And we owe it to them to invest in the next generation, so that the generation that comes after them won't have to go through some of the stuff that you all have to go through. So it's a real special treat that we have Dr. Lafayette here with us today.
Back in 1999, I was a student, undergraduate student at the University of Rhode Island. And I always wanted to work with Dr. King. He was dead. Next best thing was a gentleman who was the director of his last campaign. He was in the cafeteria one day. Someone's like, yo, that's him. I'm like, all right, watch. I walked up to him. I said, hello, Dr. Lafayette. My name is Jonathan Lewis, and we're going to be working together. He's like, great, come by my office. 6 months later, I found myself in South Africa. A couple months after that, I'm in Mexico. Then I'm in Colombia. Then I'm in Israel and Palestine, in Nigeria, all in the spirit of that last conversation. That was all done because of all the living Nobel Peace Prize laureates of the 20th century. At the end of that century, they wanted to bring forth a decade of nonviolence training and education for the youth around the world. So Dr. Lafayette started traveling on double time, if you will, to different places, trying to institutionalize nonviolence education. Most recently, he's been in Nigeria, working with the most violent of the violent, if you will, believing that there is an opportunity for change for every single human being who walks this earth. The Nigerian government is offering folks amnesty if they go through this type of training. Then they can go get job training. Then they get job placement. It's all in the spirit of the beloved community and transformation. And sacrifice is key to any type of success. Dr. Lafayette definitely knows all about that. He probably has a whole lot of keys, if you will, because he's sacrificed and struggled a great deal for a new day to use those keys to open up opportunities for other folks. So please, in Dr. Lafayette's way, let's shake it up for him as he comes up and talks to us a little bit. Thank you very much, Dr. Lafayette. It's my pleasure.